Hello again, everyone. Welcome to Washington Gun Law TV. I'm Washington Gun Law President William Kirk. Thanks for joining us. Hey, we have covered a lot of terrible gun laws on this channel. We've covered a lot of crazy and dumb gun laws on this channel. The bill that I'm about to talk to you about today is both plus immensely evil on top of it. It is a scheme by which the state of Illinois is going to extort money out of FFLs and gun manufacturers who have the audacity to want to sell their products inside the state of Illinois to basically pay for Chicago's gun violence problem. I'm not making it up. We're going to connect all the dots for you today. So today, let's spend a few minutes and let's talk about the most evil gun bill you will ever read. Okay, America, we are actually going to be talking about a gun bill kicking around in Illinois, which means you know it is absolutely evil. Now, Illinois is known for its four-letter acronyms. We got the FOID, we got the PICA, and today we're going to be talking to you about the rifle. We are going to introduce you today to House Bill 3320, introduced back in February, but suddenly picking up all sorts of steam with tons of new co-sponsors jumping on board. Special thanks to the person who tipped us off about that. And that, of course, is Dr. Naper Villain Bunny, right there, type 07 safety. Out there in X, we'll link her up down below in case you guys want to follow her. Now, the bill looks like a 122-page bill, but I will tell you that only the first 13 pages is what we're going to be focusing on today. The rest is actually all revisions to the tax code because some of the money that's going to be collected here is going to be tax exempt. Now, what I said before is this is basically going to be a compulsory licensing program with exorbitant fees that is going to then help fund Chicago's gun violence problem, which they don't seem to want to solve. Translation, it's going to be an opportunity for people to get rich off of a family member being inflicted by gun violence. Okay, let's go through the bill's summary so you could understand all of the things this is going to do. Creates the Responsibility in Firearms Legislation Rifle Act, establishes a firearms manufacturer licensing program in the Department of Financial and Professional Regulation with certain requirements, including that the sum of all fees for all firearms manufacturer licenses shall be equal to the public health costs and financial burdens from firearm injuries and deaths. That's right. You see that? They're literally going to force these manufacturers and FFLs to fund the gun violence problem in Chicago that they don't want to do anything about. The bill does a lot more. Provides that beginning January 1st, 2028, a manufacturer of firearms may not operate in this state without a license from the department, and that a manufacturer who violates this provision is subject to a civil penalty of up to $1 million per month. That's for the manufacturers. But then you also have all your gun stores in FFL, and they're going to get to share in this as well. Because the bill also provides that beginning January 1st, 2028, a retailer may not sell a firearm to a consumer in this state from a manufacturer who does not have a license from the department, and that a retailer who violates this provision is subject to a civil penalty of up to $10,000 per violation with certain requirements. And then with all this money, what do? Well, they pay people off because the bill would also establishes the rifle fund as a special fund in the state treasury with certain limitations. Provides that the proceeds from the fees under the licensing program shall be deposited into the rifle fund. Establishes a financial assistance program in the department with monies from the rifle fund for financial assistance to victims of firearms and for other purposes. What those other purposes are, God only knows. And of course, since this is Illinois, there's going to be some cronies that are going to get rich on this too, right? Yes, of course, because it will allow for private management to be contracted. The bill provides that the department shall contract with a program administrator to administer the financial assistance program with certain requirements. The bill would also provide that the department shall adopt rules for financial assistance to victims of firearms with certain requirements, including regarding exemption from certain state taxes. Provides that the department may contract with a program administrator to implement or administer any part of the act with certain requirements. So two opportunities for private parties, translation, cronies to make money off the misery of Illinois residents. Finally, the bill also provides that the department may provide for other civil penalties of no more than $1,000 per violation. And what those penalties are, God only knows. Okay, now, This is going to cover the direct costs of people who have been affected by gun violence, okay? Now, I want you to understand what a huge, gigantic black hole of money this is going to turn into, because this is how the bill defines direct costs. Direct cost means cost incurred for any one or more of the following: medical treatment and care, medical devices and prescription drugs, mental health treatment provided by a psychiatrist, psychologist, social worker, or behavioral therapist, physical therapy, occupational therapy, and rehabilitation services, funeral and burial, emergency transportation, lost wages, emergency relocation, property damage, legal services, or emergency child or dependent care. I mean, literally any conceivable cost imaginable. And by the way, this doesn't have to be victims of homicide. No, victims of suicide are also included in the rifle fund. Now, the fees are not yet set in stone, and the department will get to select what those fees are going to be. But are they going to be exorbitant? Oh, they most certainly are. Why is that? Well, because there's an aggregate amount that needs to be raised, and you can imagine when we're funding all of the recovery efforts from Chicago's gun violence problem, it might get rather expensive. And since the state of Illinois is not willing to do anything about it, they just assume that the gun industry should fund this ongoing problem of violence. But to give you an idea of how much money is actually going to be asked of all of the licensees here, check this out. The total annual aggregate for all manufacturers of firearms in this state shall be set by the department at an amount that the department estimates is equal to the public health costs and financial burdens borne by the state and its residents as a result of firearm injuries occurring in this state, as determined by the department based on the incidence of firearms injuries in this state in the previous year, except that in the first program year, the total annual aggregate shall not exceed $866 million. That's in the first year, which means that they are actually going to be collecting somewhere around $1 billion annually. Oh, does everyone pay their fair share? No. You see, the state of Illinois will be able to determine what portion of the sales does your company account for, and can it be adjusted? Yeah, it can be adjusted if for whatever reason a certain number of traces come back to a particular FFL or to a particular manufacturer. The bill actually reads, the fee paid by a firearms manufacturer shall be the portion of the total annual aggregate fee to the market share of the firearm manufacturer as determined by rule of department. But of course, it could be adjusted, right? Because the bill also reads, the fees paid by a firearm manufacturer under paragraph 3 may be adjusted by the department based on the number of firearms recovered in a given year in connection with incidents involving firearm injuries that are linked to a specific manufacturer in the state, regardless of modifications or accessories added to the firearm after manufacturing, divided by the total number of firearms recovered in connection with those incidents in that same year. And so this is absolutely positively meant to put an absolutely undoable burden upon manufacturers such as Glock, Smith & Wesson, those that are high volume manufacturers, and essentially just price them out of even doing business in the state of Illinois. Oh, and the fees, yeah, you only get a 90-day notice before they raise or change the fees on an annual basis. Okay, so in the first year, they're going to try to raise almost $1 billion from licensing fees. But trust me, it's going to go up from there. Why is that? Well, because all of the crazy costs that are going to be absorbed due to Chicago's gun violence problem, a problem that they, again, just choose to do nothing about, well, it's only going to grow over time because the bill provides for continuing payments for a period of time. It reads, the financial assistance from the Rifle Fund under this act shall compensate victims of firearms for all direct costs incurred as a result of firearm injury for up to 3 years post-event, except in the event of permanent disability. So when you go back and you take a look at all of these costs listed right here in the bill, and then realize that the manufacturers and FFLs would be on the hook for that for 3 years per victim, it doesn't take a calculator to figure out how this is going to balloon into billions and billions of dollars. So, Illinois, what you have here is a bill that is basically going to place such exorbitant and outrageous costs on firearms manufacturers in order just to merely sell their product in the state of Illinois that they're no longer going to sell their products in the state of Illinois. And this will not only have a devastating impact on the FFL industry as a whole, but ultimately it'll have a devastating impact on your Second Amendment rights, which is the exact result that the state of Illinois is hoping for here. Oh, and rest assured, in order to actually apply for a license from the state of Illinois, they will inevitably put clauses in there in which you will have to waive certain exemptions from liability, such as under the PLCAA, in order to actually be granted that license. And there is no firearms manufacturer anywhere on the planet that's going to agree to those conditions. All right, and then finally, Illinois, if this bill is passed into law, the effective date would be January 1st of 2028, or where you will have a very, very limited selection of firearms moving forward. Okay, Illinois, it is House Bill 3320. We're going to link it up down below so you can geek out on it for yourself. Probably should pour 3 fingers of bourbon, do some breathing exercises, or grab a barf bag. You're going to need one of them. Is this bill going to go anywhere? I don't know, but it is really evil, and it's the state of Illinois, and a whole bunch of Democrats have been hopping on board lately as co-sponsors, so it is picking up steam. Listen, if you got any questions about this or about anything else related to what's left of our Second Amendment rights, which in Illinois is next to nothing, you should know how to get a hold of Washington gun law by now, but if you don't, that's okay. That information is down there in the description box. If you get an idea for a video, you click on that link right there and you tell us all about it. If you want to subscribe to the monthly newsletter, that information is down there in the description box. And then finally, and most importantly, let's everyone remember that part of being the lawful and responsible gun owner, like we talk about all the time here, is to know what the law is in every situation and how it applies to you in any instance that you may find yourself. Until next time, thanks for watching and stay safe. Why in the year 2024 should anybody even think about having self-defense protection? Because, 25 years ago, we would have never had this conversation. So what's different today?
Bill, we really saw a need a number of years ago when the volatility and divisiveness of our country started to change drastically. And we, by the way, are gun people protecting gun people. We come from a significant gun background.
Right to bear, that's right, legal protection for self-protection. Listen, good lawyers aren't cheap, cheap lawyers aren't good. You're not truly prepared unless you have right to bear back you. You will always get an attorney-answered hotline, so you will always have a confidential phone call. There are no cap limits for either civil or criminal defense. This covers all forms of self-defense. So from a fist to a firearm, from a fat lip to a dead body, you are covered, and you will have some of the nation's most passionate 2A attorneys in your corner fighting for you. And right now, if you visit my friends at protectwithbear.com and you use the promo code WGL, you will receive 10% off. Listen, you need to protect yourself so that you can protect them. Visit my good friends at protectwithbear.com.